In this series of videos, we are going to start a brand new unit. We will be talking about factoring. Now, when we're talking about factoring, what we're talking about is the process of rewriting an expression as the product of its factors, right? That's the definition of factoring. And you've already encountered factoring with numbers. For example, you can rewrite the number 30 as 2 times 3 times 5, right? You rewrote 30 as a product, right? As a multiplication problem, as a product of its factors. And when we say factors, we just mean the numbers that we're multiplying. So the factors of 30 are 2, 3, and 5, right? 30 is the product of factors 2, 3, 5. In algebra, things are slightly more complex. So for example, if you have an algebraic expression like 6x cubed plus 8x squared, you can rewrite it as 2x squared times 3x plus 4. This would be an example of factoring because I rewrote my original expression as a multiplication problem, right? I'm multiplying 2x squared by 3x plus 4. And of course, we can check whether we did it correctly by simply multiplying and making sure we do get our original expression, and 2x squared times 3x is 6x cubed, and 2x squared times 4, that's 8x squared, right? We did do it correctly. Another example of factoring could be 16 minus x squared could be rewritten as 4 plus x times 4 minus x. And you may recognize this as a difference of square multiplication that we learned in difference of squares in the previous assignment. It's one of the special products, so it's very easy to verify that 4 times 4 is indeed 16, x times x is indeed x squared. So again, this expression is factored correctly. And the techniques used in each of these cases are different. There's another technique used to factor something like x squared minus x minus 6 would be factored into x minus 3 times x plus 2. Again, we took an expression and rewrote it as a multiplication problem, and not very difficult to see that if I multiply x minus 3 by x plus 2, right, x times x is x squared, x times 2 is 2x, negative 3 times x is minus 3x, negative 3 times 2 is minus 6, and when I combine the like terms, I get x squared, 2x minus 3x is minus 1x, minus 6, I do get my original expression. And I haven't really talked about the different techniques that are used to do this factoring. That's what we're going to learn about, but each problem is factored with a different technique. And the reason why we need different techniques is because different algebraic expressions have different properties. So sometimes one thing works, sometimes another thing works. In this series of videos, we will explore 3 techniques that are given in that first slide. We will talk about GCF, which stands for greatest common factor. We're going to learn how to factor out the greatest common factor. We're going to learn how to factor by grouping, and we're going to learn how to use the difference of squares formula to factor expressions that happen to be difference of squares. So in this video, I just wanted to introduce you to factoring. I want you to understand that factoring is just a process of rewriting an expression as a product of its factors. There are multiple techniques that you have to learn to use. And in the next video, we will talk about factoring out the greatest common factor.